Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling.
Have you ever witnessed a moment so powerful, so heartbreaking, that it changes the way the world remembers someone forever? Tonight, we uncover the shocking evidence released by Yumang Long's own agency. A revelation that has stunned fans, shaken the entertainment industry, and left millions around the globe speechless. This is not just about tragedy. It's about truth, justice, and the final legacy of a man whose story refuses to be silenced. Yumang Long's death was not just another news story. It was a tragedy that struck at the very core of public consciousness, echoing across nations and leaving a silence that no amount of headlines could fill. In the days following the announcement, grief poured out in ways few could have imagined. Streets that once carried the rush of ordinary life became seas of candles and flowers. Strangers who had never met him gathered shoulder to shoulder, united in their sorrow, their voices trembling as they whispered prayers and farewells. Online spaces mirrored that grief. Millions of posts appeared within hours, each carrying messages of disbelief, heartbreak, and longing for the star who had touched so many lives. Fans across Asia and beyond changed their profile pictures to his image, hashtags surged into the global trending lists, and tributes flooded timelines from Seoul to Paris, from Los Angeles to Bangkok. What made his passing so unbearable was not simply the loss of an actor or singer, but the loss of a human being whose work had become a source of comfort and inspiration. His performances were not just entertainment. They were pieces of himself that he shared with the world. For some, his music had been the soundtrack to their youth. For others, his acting had given them a reason to believe in stories of resilience and hope. That is why the news of his sudden, horrifying end felt like a betrayal of life itself. How could someone who gave so much light be consumed by such darkness? In the middle of this collective mourning, a deeper unease took root. Questions began to rise, whispered first among fans, then echoed by journalists and commentators. What exactly had happened? What were the circumstances that led to this tragedy? The official reports provided fragments, but they could not satisfy the growing hunger for truth. Rumors swirled, theories multiplied, and still, at the heart of it all, the simple fact remained. A man full of promise and humanity was gone far too soon. The tragedy of Yumang Long was not confined to one city or one community. It transcended borders, cultures, and languages, uniting millions in shared grief. In every tribute, in every tear shed by strangers, there was a recognition that this was more than the fall of a celebrity. It was the reminder of how fragile life is, how sudden loss can strike, and how the absence of one voice can echo through countless hearts. For weeks after Yumang Long's death, silence wrapped itself around the very institution people expected to speak out, his own agency. At first, this quiet was explained as respect, a time for mourning, a period for the legal process to unfold. Yet the longer it stretched on, the more uneasy it became. To the public, silence began to feel like avoidance, as though the truth was being pushed further away. Fans who had poured their grief into vigils and online tributes now started to demand answers. Why was the agency, the organization that had guided his career and benefited from his fame, refusing to step forward with clarity? Journalists questioned whether the silence was meant to shield reputations, to soften the fallout, or perhaps to protect individuals who might be implicated in something darker. The pressure mounted with each passing day. Headlines speculated about hidden motives, social media burned with accusations, and trust in the agency began to crumble. At the same time, the absence of an official statement only heightened the sense of mystery. In every unanswered question, people began to fill in the blanks with their own suspicions. It was as though silence itself became its own form of confession. For many, it felt like betrayal. The very people entrusted with Yumang Long's career, and perhaps with his safety, seemed incapable of confronting the weight of his loss with honesty. Then, without warning, the silence broke. In a late-night press conference that no one saw coming, the agency announced it held in its possession evidence that had never before been made public. The revelation came like a thunderclap across a stormy sky. After weeks of quiet, they were no longer whispering platitudes of grief. They were presenting something explosive, something that would shake every assumption made until that moment. The very same organization accused of hiding in shadows had stepped forward, carrying with it a piece of truth powerful enough to rewrite the narrative. That sudden shift from silence to revelation was more than just a change in strategy. It was a turning point that forced the world to reconsider everything it thought it knew about Yumang Long's final hours. In the stillness, suspicion had grown. But in the moment the agency finally spoke, the story took on new gravity, reminding everyone that truth has its own timing, and that silence, however heavy, can precede a storm no one is prepared to face. When the long-rumored video was finally revealed, the atmosphere shifted instantly from anticipation to something close to dread. The footage itself was unpolished, its quality raw and grainy, yet it carried a weight that no high-definition image could have intensified. On the screen appeared Yumang Long, not as the vibrant performer his fans remembered, but as a man reduced to the very edge of his existence. His face bore the unmistakable marks of exhaustion and pain, his movements sluggish as though each breath demanded the last of his strength. What struck those watching most deeply was not only his frail body, but the quiet resilience still visible in his eyes. Even when his voice cracked into a whisper, pleading simply, "Please, I don't want to die," there was both fragility and determination in his words, the desperate grasp of someone still clinging to life. But it was not the image of Yumang Long alone that turned the room cold. It was the sound that surrounded him. From the background came voices, sharp, commanding, and mercilessly calm. They were not anonymous noises. They were chillingly recognizable. Commands were given with precision. Do not let him speak. Do not let him escape. He must not leave alive. Each sentence seemed to crush the fragile hope in the air, stripping away any possibility of misunderstanding. The cruelty was not hidden. It was deliberate, spoken out loud with confidence, as though those behind the words believed their power would protect them from consequence. The juxtaposition was unbearable. On one side of the frame, a man in despair, stripped of the dignity he had built through years of work, reduced to begging for the simplest gift, another moment of life. On the other side, unseen but all too present, voices that mocked and controlled, voices that showed no hesitation, no humanity, only domination. Those who watched described feeling as though they were standing in the room themselves, powerless, forced to witness the breaking of a human spirit in real time. By the time the screen went dark, silence spread across the audience. No one spoke, no one moved, as though words themselves had been stolen by what they had seen. It was not just evidence of violence. It was the preservation of cruelty in its purest form, a record that would forever haunt the memory of Yumang Long's final moments and the conscience of all who bore witness. Investigators later confirmed, every visible injury in the footage aligned with the autopsy reports. Fractures, bruises, internal trauma. The evidence was undeniable. But beyond the legal proof, the video revealed something deeper. It showed the strength of a man refusing to surrender. Even in his final moments, Yumang Long's eyes flickered with the will to live. His dignity, even when stripped away, became a symbol of courage. As the footage ended, silence swept across the press room. Veteran reporters wept quietly. Others looked away, unable to process what they had just witnessed. Online, hashtags like #FinalVideo and #TruthForYumang trended across countries within minutes. Celebrities, politicians, and everyday fans spoke out. Some demanded harsher justice. Others shared stories of how Yumang Long had inspired them. Through his music, his acting, his humanity. The video, though horrifying, became more than proof. It became a global wake-up call about cruelty, justice, and remembrance. The agency explained why they had waited. They wanted the trial to conclude, to ensure justice was not compromised. And when justice was delivered, they believed the world deserved the truth. By releasing the footage, they turned Yumang Long's final suffering into a powerful statement, one that cannot be erased, denied, or forgotten. Today, his legacy is not just about his career. It is about resilience, courage, and the call for compassion in a world that too often chooses silence. Friends, what we have shared tonight is more than a story. It's a reminder that behind every headline lies a human life, fragile yet powerful, vulnerable yet inspiring. Yumang Long's final video is devastating, yes, but it also ensures that his memory lives on, not hidden, but honored by truth. And perhaps, that truth is what will continue to inspire change. Thank you for watching UdateX24H. If this story moved you, please hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with others so Yumang Long's legacy can reach beyond borders. Your support helps us bring you more powerful stories from around the world. Stay safe, stay inspired, and remember, truth always matters.